Hey guys, what's going on? Charlie here, and today we are doing something a little different. I'm gonna be, excuse me, I'm gonna be talking about some of the anime shows I've been watching lately. So let's start off with number one. Number one I've been watching is My Love Story. It's a manga series, but it's also an anime. It follows Takio. He's a very large, very muscular guy. He kind of looks like a gorilla and a man had a baby is what he would be. He doesn't have very much sway with the ladies. Every girl he's ever liked never has liked him back, except for one. Except for one, and that girl's name is Yamada. He meets her when she is being groped on a subway train, and he saves her from the guy. And she instantly, from that moment, falls in love with him. Um, his best friend's name is Suna. But that's about all I want to really say with that one. That's going to be a little bit shorter one because really I don't want to spoil. I don't want to go into detail of what exactly all happens, mostly because I don't want to ruin it if you guys do watch it because of this. I'm going to be talking about four other shows now. This one's Yamata and the Seven Witches. This is also a little shorter summary. It's an ongoing manga series and it's now an anime. It's coming. The first season's coming to a close. I think it's 3 days from now is the last episode for the first season. It follows Yamada. Sorry, he is a delinquent, and he is basically like it says he's delinquent. Says like it's really bad at school. He sleeps in class and all this other stuff. And his teacher was yelling at him one day, so he gets really frustrated and leaves the classroom. And he sees this girl named Shuriashi, probably totally mispronouncing that. I'll probably pronounce all the names wrong, to be honest. I'm not really good with Japanese word names. But he goes up the stairs with her, and then for some reason, I think in his head, he saw going up the stairs faster than her meant he was better than her. I'm not 100% sure what was going through his head when he thought that. But he goes up the stairs, he slips, and he falls backwards into her, and he wakes up in the infirmary, and he's in her body now. So, you guys will have to watch the show if you want to figure out how that happened. Then now, Plastic Memories is going to be a normal, probably a normal summary or a little longer one. This is actually my favorite anime show that I've been watching. The last episode comes out tomorrow. There are going to be 13 episodes in the first season, and I'm not sure if they're going to continue it or not. But it's set in the future where humans and androids, they live among one another. The androids look exactly like humans and they have human emotions and memories. But the androids, the only downfall, they can only live for 81,000 hours, 920 hours. Sorry, 81,920 hours. So about 9 months and some change. The story follows Takeda, and he is 18. He fails his college entrance exam because of a medical issue, and because his dad and the boss of the terminal service are really good friends, the boss of the terminal service gives him a job. And when he's at the job, you have to have a partner when you're there. There's a spotter and there's a marksman. And he was a spotter and his marksman for now. He's a spotter and his marksman is Isla. She's his partner, and they begin to have feelings for one another later on. And the reason what the terminal service there does, they go and collect androids after they've lived past their 81,000 hours, because if they don't, they start to get violent towards human, and it kind of go a little crazy. Um, the next one it's decent. I like it because I kind of like seeing food and stuff. It's called Food Wars. It's a manga series, but it's followed by a boy named Soma. He wants to become a chef at his dad's restaurant and surpass his dad's cooking skills. But his dad closes down the restaurant to go work in America for a bit and sends his son to a elite culinary school where only 10% of people make it through, called Jurichiro. He meets a lot of good friends there, a lot of new challenges, and if you don't really like food or seeing how food's made and all that stuff, this show's not for you. But this show also gives me kind of a Yu-Gi-Oh vibe. I don't know why, but for some reason I always think of either Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon. You know how Ash always flips the cap back before he goes into like Pokemon battle, or so that this guy kind of like takes off something on his wrist like a band and puts it around his head, and that always, every time he does that, I think Pokemon. And then the Yu-Gi-Oh vibes, just there's like showdowns called Shokugeki. I'm doing that one completely off memory, so I have no idea if that's even right. But and that just reminds me of Yu-Gi-Oh for some reason. Okay, this is the next one. Is it wrong to try to pick up girls in a dungeon? It is one of the better ones out there, I'd say. That and Plastic Memories are kind of fighting for my number one spot. But Plastic Memories just makes me feel so many more feelings, which is ultimately the best. But is it wrong to try to pick up girls in a dungeon? Follows Bell. He is let me give you a backstory. So, this is set in like, probably, I'd say in the past, probably way back, before guns and all that. There's a dungeon in the middle of the town that they live in, and all these angels and, not angels, wrong word, all these gods and goddesses come down to Earth to live among the humans, and they recruit humans to join their familia so that they can fight in the dungeon that's in the middle of the town. And the further down you go, the more harder it gets to be. Like, there's bosses, minotaurs, tons of stuff. And this Belle is recruited by Hestia, and he's the only one in her family to be, well, the only one in her family, period. So he tries to not die as much as possible, because if he dies, Hestia will be all by herself, the goddess. Hestia also has a saying for Belle. Belle is 14 years old, male, and he was in the dungeon one day, and a minotaur from a lower level, or I guess higher level technically, came to his level and started to fight him. And he didn't know what to do, and then he almost died, and then Aze Wallenstein came out of nowhere, this like super good swordsman lady, and she kills the minotaur. And when she does that, Belle instantly falls in love with her. He wants to know everything about her, if she has a boyfriend, if like all this other stuff. But then someone tells him that she would never date someone like that's not on her level. You know, he starts to train harder, and he gets this actual like fire in him to like be better or as good as her, so he can ask her on a date. But little does he know, girls around him, like all around him, are starting to fall for him, his goddess included. And it's just a really good anime. It has a good action, like RPG feel. Did I say RPG? I meant romance feel, and I really am enjoying it. Alright, so those were my 5 anime recommendations for you guys. I really would suggest going and looking them up if you haven't already. This has been Charlie, and I'm out.